the miracle drug approved by the FDA to stop kidney disease progression. A groundbreaking drug capable of halting the progression of kidney disease has just been approved by the FDA. It reduces the risk of kidney failure by 50% in stages 2 to 4 of chronic kidney disease, CKD. This revolutionary treatment is expected to save millions of lives. Something monumental has just happened in the field of kidney disease. Many pharmaceutical companies have profited significantly from recent global crises. However, one of these companies has decided to reinvest a portion of its massive profits into something truly meaningful. Double-Flozin, sold under the names Forxiga and Farxiga, is a new prescription drug that has been approved for treating CKD. A large Phase 3 clinical trial demonstrated that it significantly slows the progression of CKD in adults with and without type 2 diabetes. This approval is considered the most significant breakthrough in the treatment of chronic kidney disease in over 20 years, and I truly believe this to be the case. Farxiga was tested on people with kidney disease, yielding impressive results. And when I say impressive, I mean it managed to reduce the progression of kidney disease by 39% in individuals with stage 2 to 4 CKD. The results of the Phase 3 clinical trial were so extraordinary that the Independent Data Monitoring Committee recommended halting the trial early due to the drug's incredible effectiveness. Essentially, the independent committee didn't want to wait. They wanted Farxiga to be brought to market immediately because it has the potential to save lives. In fact, after 8 years of research on kidney health, I'm not exaggerating when I say this will revolutionize the way kidney disease is treated. You'll hear a lot about this in the coming months. And now, before you rush to your doctor to get a prescription, which, by the way, you absolutely should do, there's an important side effect you need to know about. Farxiga has been extensively tested, and it is known to initially reduce kidney function. Today, in the next part of the video, I'll explain how to avoid this, and I'll also show you exactly who should take this drug and who shouldn't. So, make sure to watch this video until the end. Ask your doctor or anyone else who's talking about it, are you ready to take Farxiga? Let me know in the comments. In fact, you might have already heard about Farxiga in the media. After receiving FDA approval, the drug was also recently approved in Europe for the treatment of chronic kidney disease. But not all doctors will prescribe it right away. I bet many doctors don't even know this drug exists yet. And since this medication could be life-changing for hundreds of thousands of CKD patients, share this video with anyone you know who has kidney or diabetes-related problems. What I'm going to show you today about how Farxiga halts kidney disease progression could truly change lives. Let's take a look at how Farxiga can help slow the progression of kidney disease. Farxiga is an SGLT2 inhibitor, sodium glucose cotransporter 2 inhibitor. This means it primarily lowers blood sugar by prompting the kidneys to remove glucose from the body through urine. It's a glucose-removing molecule that reduces glucose reabsorption in the kidneys and liver, releasing excess glucose through urine. It's not the only drug in this class. Invokana and Jardiance are other SGLT2 inhibitors with similar properties. All SGLT2 inhibitors significantly reduce the risk of heart failure in people with diabetes, lower the risks of stroke, heart attack, and cardiovascular death in individuals with type 2 diabetes. They can also promote weight loss and mildly improve blood pressure and cholesterol levels. So, there are several SGLT2 inhibitors on the market prescribed to people with diabetes, and then there's Farxiga. What sets Farxiga apart is that it also works to slow the progression of kidney disease in people without diabetes, and it is particularly effective for those with IgA nephropathy. Overall, it can significantly slow the progression of kidney disease in most patients with CKD. This is what we care about, obviously, reducing the progression of kidney disease by 39% in individuals with stage 2 to 4 CKD, to be precise. I also want to make it clear that I'm not sponsored by the manufacturer of this drug. I don't like them that much, and I can't even say their name on YouTube, or my video would instantly disappear. But with these kinds of results produced in a phase 3 clinical trial, I have a responsibility to inform you about it. Additionally, there's a very important side effect you should know about. As I mentioned, taking Farxiga may cause an initial drop in kidney function. This is crucial. Please, before rushing to your doctor for a prescription, consider this. What are we looking at here? This is data from the Javelin CKD Phase 3 trial. They tested Farxiga on 4,304 participants with CKD, a GFR between 25 and 75, or stage 2 to 4 CKD. The trial lasted 36 months. As we can see, these lines represent changes in GFR from baseline. Now, GFR stands for glomerular filtration rate. It's the primary marker of kidney disease and determines the stage you're in. The goal of any treatment for kidney disease is to make this line as flat as possible. Now, as we can see here, there will be an initial drop in GFR when starting this medication. It's very abrupt, we're talking about 2 weeks. So, you'll notice this the first time you check your kidney function after starting Farxiga. We're looking at a 4-point drop in GFR, and that's quite significant. I know many of you care deeply about these numbers, GFR, creatinine, and you should care because they tell you how healthy your kidneys are. And you know what? Tell me something more important than your health. So, you have every right to be concerned about the GFR drop, but in this case, it's completely normal and actually expected because afterward, your kidney function will stabilize for longer and decline at a slower rate over the years. This is what this line tells us. You see, the red line here represents the placebo group. They didn't receive Farxiga. They received standard care, blood pressure medications, statins, diuretics, and all the usual stuff. However, their GFR declined by 12 points over 36 months, which is the normal rate of decline for people with CKD. Farxiga group, they received the same standard care as the control group, but they also took an additional Farxiga pill daily. After 36 months, their GFR only dropped by 9 points, which is a significant improvement. This essentially means that the likelihood of the worst kidney disease outcomes, death, cardiovascular events, more than 50% decline in kidney function, or dialysis, was reduced by 39% for those taking Farxiga. This has been demonstrated in a very large study conducted over more than 3 years with over 4,000 patients, and these numbers are excellent. Again, this is effective for people with CKD caused by diabetes, high blood pressure, IgA nephropathy, and other causes. Now, speaking of IgA nephropathy. In a pre-specified analysis, we showed that among participants with IgA nephropathy, dapagliflozin reduced the risk of the primary composite outcome by up to 71% and the secondary kidney-specific outcome by up to 75%. This, in itself, is significant compared to existing treatments, meaning people with IgA nephropathy will see better results from taking this medication. This makes Farxiga potentially the most effective treatment for IgA nephropathy to date. I wouldn't be surprised if, in the coming years as we gather more data, the numbers for Farxiga will get even better. So, back to the initial drop in kidney function. How worried should you be about this? Not at all. If you start taking Farxiga and your next blood test shows lower kidney function, don't worry, focus on the longer-term improvements. The goal here is to keep your kidneys working as well as possible for as long as possible, and that's more important than any single test result. In fact, the results with Farxiga are so promising that the recommendation you'll get from your doctor is that even a 30% drop in GFR might be worth continuing the medication. Yes, researchers have that much confidence in this new drug. This is why I tell you this is the biggest breakthrough in the past 20 years, at least. Now, here's a question many of you might be asking right now. Why hasn't my doctor prescribed it to me yet? It was only approved by the FDA for kidney disease treatment 3 months ago, and in Europe, it was just approved 4 days ago. Things like this usually take a long time to move from the lab to patients. It can take years. Many doctors may not know about it or may not be focused on it. That's why learning about it, as you're doing now, is so important. Now, Farxiga and other SGLT2 inhibitors, like Invokana and Jardiance, have been prescribed to people with diabetes, even those with CKD, for the past few years. So, another very important question is Farxiga approved in my country? This new drug has been approved in many places around the world. As we've seen, the US and Europe have approved it for CKD. In India, Canada, and Australia, it has also been approved for kidney disease. In the Philippines, it is currently only approved for diabetes patients. Farxiga has other side effects that you should discuss with your doctor before taking it, such as an increased risk of infections, dehydration, and low blood sugar. Additionally, it's important to know that it can interact with insulin, so people taking insulin need to be cautious. It can still be used with insulin, but if you're prescribed it while on insulin, be careful and monitor your blood sugar levels closely. Another downside is that there is currently no generic version of Farxiga, and not all insurance plans cover it. There are also patients who cannot take it, including those with type 1 diabetes, polycystic kidney disease, and lupus. FDA approves a game-changing drug. In recent months, there has been a lot of news from the world of kidney disease. 2 highly effective new treatments have emerged. One particular medication can truly help with proteinuria. Proteinuria is an extremely important predictor of kidney function decline. When there's too much protein in your urine compared to what's normal for the stage of kidney disease you're in, it indicates your kidney function will deteriorate rapidly. So, this treatment can significantly help many people. Moreover, there has been recent news suggesting that some medications people are currently using may be dangerous. We've also seen that many foods once considered unhealthy are now seen as beneficial. It's important to stay informed about these updates so you can make smart decisions at your next doctor's appointment. Today's goal is to give you all the information you need to slow kidney function decline, extend your lifespan, and improve your quality of life. Let's start with the news about drugs that can reduce proteinuria by half. First, we need to understand why I believe this is major news. Why is protein important in kidney-related issues? Proteinuria can mean the difference between needing dialysis and reversing kidney disease. Proteinuria levels, also known as albuminuria or protein in urine, can provide a glimpse into your future. Keeping these levels within a reasonable range means your kidney disease is under control. But if proteinuria is too high, rapid kidney function decline is almost always the result. Is your albumin excretion level under 30 milligrams per day? If not, this new medication could genuinely help you. Who can benefit from this? This prescription drug is called finerenone, part of a class of medications known as nonsteroidal mineralocorticoid receptor antagonists. It's sold under the brand name Kerendia. Currently, it is used to reduce the risk of kidney function decline, kidney failure, and cardiovascular problems in people with chronic kidney disease, CKD, related to type 2 diabetes. So, if you have diabetes and high proteinuria, you should seriously consider this new drug because it could truly make a difference. In a study conducted prior to its approval, finerenone was able to reduce proteinuria levels by over 40%. This study was performed on mice, but these mice have kidneys very similar to ours. In fact, a more targeted study was quickly approved for finerenone, leading to its FDA approval as a treatment for diabetic kidney disease. Patients can now benefit from the powerful kidney protective effects of this drug. And finerenone isn't exactly new. It was FDA approved in 2021 and was also approved in the European Union back in 2020. But we all know how the medical world works, right? If I didn't talk about it here, it might take decades before your doctor mentions it. It's worth noting that this drug does come with its own side effects. The most common is high potassium levels in the blood. If this happens, avoiding bananas won't help. Instead, you'll need to consult your doctor about the medications you're taking. However, given the significant benefits of this new treatment, the side effects can be considered acceptable. A promising combination, finerenone and Farxiga. A recent study published in the December 2022 issue of Diabetes Care tested finerenone in combination with another new drug, Farxiga. The study found that the kidney and cardiovascular protective effects of these two drugs are cumulative since they work in different ways. Patients using both medications could experience greater therapeutic benefits with fewer side effects than using either drug alone. This is especially important as both drugs provide kidney and heart protection, and we know that protecting the heart is crucial for people with CKD. In the near future, a diabetic patient with high proteinuria may be recommended to take both an MRA like finerenone and an SGLT2 inhibitor like Farxiga. This would be fantastic because it could mean delaying dialysis by a decade or more simply by taking 2 pills daily. Farxiga alone could be a major step in that direction. What is Farxiga, and why should you consider it? Farxiga is an innovative drug that benefits most kidney patients, even those without diabetes. The medication recently received rapid FDA approval for treating chronic kidney disease because it can significantly slow CKD progression. This FDA approval is considered one of the most important advancements in chronic kidney disease treatment in the past 20 years. Farxiga was tested on CKD patients in a phase 3 clinical trial called DAPA-CKD, involving 4,300 participants with a GFR ranging from 25 to 75, stages 2 to 4. The trial lasted 36 months, and its results were so overwhelmingly positive that an independent data monitoring committee recommended stopping all trials due to the drug's remarkable effectiveness. That's why this drug is now prescribed for treating kidney disease worldwide. If you're prescribed this medication, you can expect to reduce your risk of the worst outcomes of kidney disease, dialysis, and death. So, you can imagine how much better the outcomes could be when combining it with finerenone. Farxiga, however, is not approved for patients with a GFR lower than 25, and it's not cheap. Similarly, finerenone, also not cheap, does not benefit those without diabetes and high proteinuria. Nevertheless, having new treatment options for kidney problems is incredibly positive news because current treatments are not always safe for CKD patients. One exciting reason this drug combination is so promising is that it could reduce the need for ACE inhibitors and ARBs. What are the issues with ACE inhibitors and ARBs? The issue with ACE inhibitors and ARBs is that today, the medical field is starting to lose confidence in these two classes of drugs, which were once considered foundational in treating CKD, chronic kidney disease. You see, the problem with these medications, used by about 8 out of 10 kidney patients, is that they can be quite tough on the kidneys. If you have kidney disease, you might be taking one of these drugs. ACE inhibitors are medications that typically end in pril, such as enalapril and lisinopril, among others. ARBs, on the other hand, are drugs that end in sartan, such as losartan and valsartan, among others. These are some of the most commonly prescribed drugs for managing high blood pressure in kidney disease patients. This is because they don't just lower blood pressure, they also protect the kidneys from proteinuria, the most critical factor in kidney damage. This is why most kidney disease patients are almost always prescribed one of these medications, not just to control high blood pressure. You can understand, then, why the development of new drugs that don't harm the kidneys while protecting against proteinuria is so important. These commonly prescribed drugs are proven to cause damage. The issue with ACE inhibitors and ARBs is that they are now linked to severe structural damage to the arteries and arterioles of the kidneys. Drugs that were supposed to protect the kidneys are now being reconsidered as potentially harmful. Today, some doctors even advise their patients to stop using these drugs, especially those who don't have high levels of proteinuria. The Stop ACE Inhibitors trial, published in November 2020, demonstrated that in patients with advanced stage kidney disease, there was no significant difference in kidney function when these blood pressure drugs were discontinued. Let me emphasize, patients in stages 4 and 5 of kidney disease did not lose kidney function at a different rate when they stopped using ACE inhibitors or ARBs. So, you may want to think about this and possibly discuss it with your doctor, but always take your proteinuria levels into account. Patients without high proteinuria derive the least benefit from these medications. Another major concern, high potassium levels. Another reason someone might want to limit reliance on ACE inhibitors and ARBs is that they are among the most common causes of hyperkalemia, or high potassium levels in the blood. Potassium is going to be one of the biggest issues to watch in 2023. You see, the belief that potassium-rich foods are the main culprits behind high potassium levels in the blood is about to disappear, for good. Some very common medications can increase your potassium levels. But there's more to the story. New guidelines for CKD now recommend that doctors stop prohibiting patients from eating potassium-rich foods. This is significant news because changes in clinical guidelines don't happen often. Everything a doctor does, any medication they prescribe, any dosage, or any treatment, is based on the guidelines that direct them to do so. And now, the nutrition guidelines for kidney disease have changed. However, it's still true that 1 in 5 individuals has high potassium levels, and this issue needs to be addressed. Avoiding bananas and potatoes won't solve the problem. There's a list of reasons why your potassium levels might be high, and if your doctor isn't aware of them, you should learn more. That way, you'll be able to lower your potassium levels and enjoy tomatoes and avocados again. We've reached the end of today's journey. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you in the next video. Have an amazing